Let's have a talk, let's have a chat, talking about a little this and that. Hello and welcome to another episode of This and That. I am your host, Mary Easterling, and today we are going to do another item by Bob Neumann called Dead Sheep. Sounds macabre, but there's a very serious message here. But before I begin, to listen to anything else from This and That, go to talkingaboutthistandthat.wordpress.com and click on the podcast link. Bob Newman's things will be featured on our blog. The blog has read more links. Click on them. They take you to the article, which has the podcast, which opens in a separate tab so you can listen while you look. This is short but deep. In 1996, August 25th, 1996, this is what Bob was in church, and this is what he heard. Bob writes, "In the morning service, I received the quote-unquote word and had no release. The main content was covered by 3 words given and the message preached. Early during evening service worship, I found myself in an open-eyed vision. I was in a vast field, and in the field were the carcasses of sheep. My field of vision was filled with bloated bodies covered by flies. The stench of old blood was unmistakable. The carcasses were torn, but no signs of missing limbs or organs. What killed the sheep did so out of pleasure, not hunger. This need not have happened," stated the voice of the Good Shepherd, my master. "As I turned around, I saw the interparts of many sheep, for in a great circle the sheep stood facing their shepherd. What separated the sheep from the carcasses, the living from the dead, was to me but a few paces, and suddenly a sense of grief that was immeasurable, as the shepherd restated. This need not have happened, and quietly the Spirit repeated the message from the morning. The storm comes, but too many of my children are caught up in the little squalls that disrupt their lives. My children know of me not as I desire, but as they limit me. If they knew me as part of their lives, they would stride through their troubles and not submit to them. Because they do not submit to my will, they become prey to all that rises against them. If they would focus their eyes of their spirits on my spirit, I would protect and provide for them. But my sheep know my voice, but pay little attention to the words I speak. For it is my words that give life, strength, and freedom. That is why the enemy seeks to distract my sheep who hear my voice but not my words. For if he distracts you, you lose sight of me, and I am your salvation. Keep your eyes on me, children, and obey my words. They are not spoken lightly, for once you are distracted, you will lose sight and sound of me. For in this place of distraction, the enemy sows seed of doubt and despair where my word should be. Once you submit to your lies, what little strength of spirit you may have is dissipated, and you are vulnerable to deception. Once deceived, the enemy will seek to destroy and devour you. That is what the enemy's desires are, for that is his nature. Seek me and live. Follow me and you will, quote unquote, prosper. Serve me and learn to overcome." This is where the morning word ended, but the Spirit continued to speak. "But my people worship me with their mouths and not from their hearts." Look at those who, quote unquote, worship me in fullness, and those who follow along. Those who spend themselves will not be distracted by the winds of life. The storm shall not harm them. Those who go through the motions are battered by breezes. How will they weather the storm? Will they remember me now, or when their lives are in the enemy's hands? It matters little, son, for I am more than able in all things that concern my people and my bride. This is where Bob stopped. I have not had an idea what to call these last few items that I've put out. There was a title, I can't remember it now. It started with Double Vision. Then it went to Don't You See? Then it went to The Dream of the Forest, and it went to Impedimentia and a response to Impedimentia. And it's ending with, I think, with Dead Sheep. The clarion call is, yes, Here in the United States, there is a massive betrayal and a massive storm. Here in Idaho's life is a shift. I have to let go of a lot of stuff now and let others take over, knowing the outcome. I have a hard time hearing and understanding his words. I have a hard time not being destroyed and being dead sheep on the ground. And I know this. This goes out to those who hear but don't understand, who don't really hear and are consumed with what's going on around them. The clarion call at this point is to turn your eyes to Jesus. Some of us are remanded to sit and to watch and to see. The thing is, those of us that are remanded to sit and to watch and to see what's going on and to bear witness are not to be consumed by it, not even with curiosity. They're to return to whatever intimacy they have with the Lord our God. There has been talk about gifts, callings, etc. My calling is apparently right now to spend myself out and to now start letting go of that expenditure as a caregiver. I can't say I'm happy with it because then it's what's next. For me, this message says, look to the Lamb of God. He's what's next. He will surely direct me to what is next and make a way for me to have the income I need to live for the next 20, 30 years. The enemy seeks to kill, to steal, to destroy, to swallow down the soul, leaving a bloated, rotting shell. A person that is consumed by everything around them when they should be consumed by a holy fire of a holy God whose love is that fire. No, the place between the living and the dead is very small. But if you notice, the sheep were facing the shepherd. Their eyes were only on him. They had their backs to everything else because they knew the shepherd could see where they couldn't. It's one thing to be a radio show host and say these things. It's another for me to live it. That's the difference. That will do it for this episode of This and That. Until then.